I barely started.
I barely started. Get very excited. Very excitable. All right.
So Joanna, Chris tells me you're presenting today.
Oh yeah, I'm so ready. I was just making sure though. I was like, okay, I think I'm off the hook for another week, but
I couldn't remember what we were doing either. It was funny. We all were on the same page.
Well, like I said, I'll take that one because normally I send out the video, which I forgot to send out, along with the notes, they usually go out.
Honestly, I think we might have discussed it being a planning, because if none of us prepared a speech, then I think that's because we talked about needing to do that at least every other time or every third time, or add a meeting in.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, did you want to pull up your outline? Because this is let's just kind of go over what. One, we have an idea that we want to run past you, and two, I'd like to work on the outline, because if we do the outline and we say, okay, let's try to get the first module done as far as content, and we feel like we pretty well nailed that, then we could start putting all these pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I keep got this thing in my wife's working on this startup company. It's the minimum viable product. We can do this with our product and say, this one I think we could improve, and then we can always go back and reshoot it. Mm-hmm. So I kind of think, we should get in the doing and step up mode. We've been practicing this for a while. We've seen, our moments of brilliance here. We've seen some improvement opportunities, but I think we're starting to get into that. At least for me, I feel like I'm getting in a rhythm.
Okay.
So let's get it going, put it together, and then we can always tweak it later. That's the nice thing about video. You can go, let's re-edit it that one, or let's reshoot that one. So that's my thought anyway.
Okay.
Are we thumbs up on that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like that. One thing I wanted to say, Chris, and I was waiting for Joanna. Excuse me. That's fun. I kind of had this revelation last night. I was like, because I've given my presentation, the 1 hour, a few times, and in developing this course and everything with you guys, I think the one thing I had in my mind that's been a little bit of a block was, I think I was trying to use the success principles as the message. Like, apply these to your life and your life's better, versus the success principles we're using as the tool to get people to change and learn new habits, and that's the physical tool. And I know, we've talked about who we're trying to help, target audience and pain points and all that stuff. And I think that's why that's kind of somewhat important, is because we're selling them on that. We're selling them on the pain points and the freedom or the solution or whatever. We're just going to use, the success principles as our weekly tools to help develop them, to get them to wherever we think they need to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow you.
So my idea was really nailing down what are you going to get out of this course, versus just apply these principles, or you know what I mean? In some way, I was trying to make the principles the meat, when they're actually just a tool to use to make the change. So it made me think, if I'm not sure I'm going to do a lot of these 1 hour talks anymore. I'm not really pushing it, but I feel like I almost would want to redo the talk a little bit to have more of a common story or a common thread throughout it. I wouldn't have to change a lot, but then you throw in the visualization, the getting clear, all those things that we've been talking about. But what's that main story? What's our main message that we want people to realize? And I don't know where you guys are. Yep. Yes, sir.
It's our story. That's the whole idea. What people relate to, or at least, I don't know about you guys, but when I get excited about this stuff is when I hear somebody's personal story and what impacted them. I relate to that, and I see how that relates to me. So it's about your story, or if you say, look, I've got a really great story here. I want to tell you a story that impacted me. It's the things that's what's gripping, right? I mean, for me, I'll use Joanna as an example. When Joanna's like, so I got to do this, this Wonder Woman shoot, and I'm like, what's a Wonder Woman shoot and how did you get that? Like, I'm immediately drawn into that. Right now, the success principles are what you're using to explain that story and to inspire people to make the changes that you feel that they should make to become their best self. But it's the personal stories that you go, your personal struggles, your fight with, your body image, and you're like, oh, good, what am I doing? That's the stuff that's juicy that people want to do, that they want to connect to. Right? So for me, it'd be like quitting to go stand-up comedy. And like, whoa, you did what? Like every time I tell them, like, you're a stand-up, I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I could never do that. What made you do that? And so those things. So Matt, for you, same kind of thing. Look, I would say you already have this stuff. It's the, hey, I'm living the dream. I mean, honestly, I think you just got to come out. Hey, everybody, I'm living the dream. I am living the dream. Oh, 3-day weekend. That could be your theme. And you just go, guys, have you ever asked somebody how they're doing? They just say they live in the dream. That's sarcastic. I'm living the dream. That's their reply. And they got all these hobbies. And like, how's hey, how's the wife? Oh, she's good. Good. The kids, they're good. Good. I'm living the dream, man. Oh, I can't wait for the 3-day weekend. Woo! I'm going to get to go out on my boat. So it's...
You never told me you had a boat.
I want a boat.
I would love a boat. It sounds fun. Joanna, do you have a boat?
So much work. I did.
Yeah.
I want a boat.
Is it?
The best day about a boat, the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
I've heard
I love
that.
it. I love that my friends have boats.
Smart. That's the way to do it, huh? Okay, so we need to get one of your friends with a boat. Okay, you.
No, but so man, what I would say is that's what it is. The success principles are the core or the curricula, right?
Yep. No, that's good. This is good. I love that.
Sorry.
That's right.
You okay now?
No, but I'll figure it out. My phone is a different level than my computer. My bar stool that I have it sitting on, but it's okay. Keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
So it's
No, Chris, I love that. Just, I don't know. Like I said, for me, it was probably a little bit more of an aha moment. Because like I said, all this was new and I just jumped into Canfield and I loved it. And it's like, but I kept thinking like that was the theme. That was the talk, that was the talk I was trying to present. And it's not, and you're right. The living the dream is the talk. And I like that. I will work on that is like, I will teach you how to really live the dream. I love that just to play it, play it around. Like, when people say I live the dream, I teach you how to really live the dream. Let me show you how to wake up and make the choices so you can live your real dream. And then I have these tools to show you.
All right, Joanna, did that resonate with you?
What's that?
Did that resonate with you?
Oh yeah, no. I think that's why the Train the Trainer materials are so valuable, because they are implementation tools. And I think that's why Jack gives us so much leeway on how we present this material, as long as we fully understand the principles and how to use the actual tools that he's trained us to do. But I think so. And I think, again, that's what he wants us to do, is to use our own experiences and stories to spread this message. Or he would say, here's this script, here's that script, here's this script. And that's not the case.
And then pay me my 10% fee.
Right. Yeah. All the things that everybody else that you teach their program does.
So Matt, I will tell you right now, I want you to go back and look at this video, because when you said that, you lit up.
Yes, you did.
You absolutely lit up.
I wrote it down.
You weren't doing it. You were just like, I teach you how to actually live the dream. And I mean, man, I got the chills. That is what you want. Something that resonates with you deeply. And then I'm going to teach you how to live the dream. Right? That's it. I'm not telling you what to do, but that resonated with me. I'll tell you, that was a winning, that little bit was a winning intro for me. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. Because like I said, I had a really good night last night. I did some meditation. I had a weird, so I had another story I was going to share with you guys. I had a weird couple of days. For for some reason I'm sore, like my body hurts. Like I told you, I was running, my knee hurts, my shoulder's been painful. You know me, once in a while I get just down on this process isn't going fast enough. And I think this was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday. So I woke up, I'm sluggish, no energy. I'm tired. I'm drinking coffee like a motherfucker. All this horrible shit, right? I'm just in that zone, in that bad mood. And I got out of the shower in the morning. I'm in the mirror and I'm like, you're a fat piece of shit. The whole 9 yards. Because everything's negative. I'm like, look how fat you're getting. You're eating like crap. And my hair sucked. That's why I get the haircut. I was just like, everything sucked, right? So I go through.
Tell me more about how your hair sucked.
So, oh, Chris, I had to rub my hands through it, and so anyway, so like I said, so things are sucking, right? Luckily, I got to go to see my chiropractor that day. It just happened to be that day, and with the chiropractor, I also get a massage, and they have this new masseuse, and she's kind of into this type of stuff, self-development and all that. But anyway, long story short, this is the first time, like, when she was massaging my shoulder and my knee and everything that hurt, we talked a lot. And it was weird because I got everything off my chest with her. I was just like, yeah, this and that. And so I started to perk up. I started to feel a little better. And then I had work.
Is that me or him?
It's him.
Okay, we're okay. He was on a roll too. Getting very.
I know.
Oh, poor Matt. He's probably still talking. Well, he'll come back, and then he can tell us about his hair, and then maybe you can jump in and tell me about your bad hair days. That'd be good.
Yeah,
totally
the braids are for. And I appreciate that it's way earlier for you guys, but it's early for me.
Right. Hey, Joanna, I got a question for you. So what is your theme for you? What is your kind of?
Well, my driving passion is inspiring women in transition. That's my overlaying interest. Just because there's so many audiences for that, and I can relate to that so well. But overall, I also love the idea of, oh, there he is. Maybe. Getting, I love the unstuck parts, getting people onto that next thing, because I think even people like us get super inspired and excited, and we're going. We have no idea where the finish line is, and we don't even know who else is in the race, and is it a race, and wait, is it a relay, and where am I supposed to hand the baton? I think those of us that push to this point, there's a lot of people that want to go that next piece, and they don't know where or how to get there. And I just mean in life. I don't mean in like being trainers or speakers. So to me, that's important. That's an important audience as well.
I think it could all roll into one idea. So one of the things that resonated with me when you were telling your story was the imbalance, and like feeling. To me, I guess the overarching theme was like, look, here's where I started. I was crazy committed to work and success and the job as a realtor, and I realized that I was out of balance. Right. So I think all those things you touched on can go into that, and then saying, look, I had to go into transitional period. You could talk about all those things that you're speaking about. Like, what's that core piece? Because I'll tell you, that's what resonated with me when you talked about, because I could relate to those things. Like, I'm just running so hard to be successful, and yet I don't really. I'm missing out on key things. Like I was a little crazy about it, and I think people can. There's so many people who are so busy, and they don't stop to go, am I busy at the right things?
Well, and all these principles, if you don't balance them out, they can point you in a direction, like the goal bigger than you. I mean, I know a few people that the goal is so bigger for them that they've left everybody else behind, and nothing, it's really not going to matter when they get there. So I think any of these practices and principles have to be used in a formula of some sort to find that balance. And Gary Keller just, wrote that book, The One, and his conversation is about counterbalance. Like, yeah, there's going to be times you have to work more and your family is going to get less of you, but then there needs to be the other times where the family gets more of you and the work gets less of you. It's the counterbalance. The idea of it all being like 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, that's not real.
Yeah. You got to put up some time up front. All that work you put up front probably allowed you to have a little more balance now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also,
or at least value it more. It's valuing it more.
Yeah. All right, Matt. You were telling how miserable a day you had. You're talking about how wonderful, how tough it was because you had a bad hair day.
I know that was crazy. I got into it. My computer. What did you hear last? Because I kept talking.
When Chris said, "Oh, tell me about your bad hair," and he leaned in.
Oh, okay. So long story short, it was just one of those days. Later on, I had a good day going. I got to go to the gym and exercise, and everything was feeling better. And I got home and I took a shower. And as I walked through the bathroom, I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, not bad. You're looking pretty good. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, what a change from the morning where I thought I was a fat ass to all of a sudden I physically thought I looked better. And I was like, all that's changed was my mind and my attitude and my choice, right? The way I decided to see things. And I don't know, it was like a powerful moment because I realized that just, when you stay in those holes and whatever that bring you down or whatever, everything looks bad and everything's worse and blah, blah, blah. And it was like an eye-opening experience. It's like, wow, all I had to do is change my attitude and everything was a lot better. So, I don't know. For me, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
So what specifically did you do? Do you feel that got that to change?
For me, I changed my physiology. I exercised and I think that's what it was. I exercised and I watched some Mind Valley YouTube videos while I was doing it. So I got the motivation and all that back. So.
And then you also got the release from the massage and the chiropractic adjustment.
Yeah.
Do you think that was part of the release of the negative energy?
Yes, for sure. So, so that's, I think that's important for people to know too, because part of living the dream is people stay in that state then for too long, and for me, luckily it only lasted for, half a day. So.
Well, again, I encourage you to write about it because it's relatable. I mean,
I know. I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, good for you.
I did.
All right. What I'd like to do is, if it's okay, I'm going to pull up the outline that we had talked about before. And I think I had used Matt's outline. Let me see if I can pull this thing up. And then I had tweaked it a little, and then we can just discuss it, and let's just make a decision. Like, yep, let's review, move this around, let's do this, and let's start putting this thing together. What do you say?
Okay.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's weird. I can't see you guys now. All right, that's weird. I don't like that. I like being able to see you. All right, I'm gonna do it that way.
Yeah.
All right. So our 7-week course outline. So I would say, we're going to talk about that kind of choice being your superpower, and then an intro into the 3 themes that we're going to do, and then all the success principles are kind of embedded in it. It's like decide what you want, take action, take 100% responsibility, and saying, now there's lots of ways to get those together. For me, I like the idea of asking them, so which one do you think is most important? So write down which one you think is the most important. And then
the top 3.
Of those 3 things, which one do you think is the most important? And I said it's going to be different for everybody, right? They're going to be like, well, I really don't take action, or I don't know what I want to do, or take responsibility. I don't do a good job at that. And sort of get them thinking about it. Say, look, and then we can talk about what we say are, what it is for us, right? I think the one that for me I always would say is like deciding what you want gives you the motivation to take responsibility, because sometimes you don't want to just take responsibility if you're not ready for it. But if you have a goal or a dream or a vision, And maybe you're ready to start taking more responsibility, whether you succeed, whether you're achieving that. So that's my thought on it. But it could also be just, being responsible. You don't have to have a goal, but you have to be responsible for what you're experiencing. Right. So Jack says it's that one. So I think we could talk about it, which one we think is most important. I think then it would be, start introducing E plus R equals O for the responsibility piece. Can't, won't, learning things you want, homework is these pieces. So this would be like week 1, kind of the theme. Any objections to that or other ideas?
I think it's really well laid out.
Matt?
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I was thinking too, for me, I think one thing that really made a benefit for me when I started all this was just knowing that there was change possible. If we're talking with people who do feel stuck and frustrated and whatever in life, I think sometimes too, just knowing that change is possible is like a little bit of a mental shift. And so I didn't know what you guys thought about maybe making that like an early portion of the training too, like maybe right after the welcome, like, hey, no matter where you're going here, weight loss, career change, blah, whatever it is, you just have to believe it's possible. We have the tools.
And I think we all have stories that that'll be good relationship builders or connectors for these people about change and how it's affected us.
Okay. Sorry
to interrupt you.
No, that's good. I just think putting that out there first, like, just believe whatever's going to take place over the next 7 weeks is going to make this happen for you. Because if you really instill that, you really get them to follow through. I think that's really the part that'll help get everyone really interactive with this and really put in their best effort.
So how's this? Let's talk about choice is your superpower, and then change is possible. Mm-hmm. And then they introduce new themes. So look, oh yeah, great, I got choice. And like, first you have to really believe that change is possible for you. And it's contingent on the choices that you make. So we can tie those two themes together.
Yeah, they do tie together. They definitely do.
So you like that? That work?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me go down. So then we had, the other one was, I think a lot of this is from you, Matt. So it was create a positive mentality. What are you focusing on? And then talking about the, particular activating system,
Mm-hmm.
RAF. Then talking about blaming, complaining, making excuses, attitude, gratitude, gratitude journal, acknowledge your past wins upon victim, victor, that inverse paranoid. People are out to help me. I like that one. The self-talk, perception exercises, embracing that change. So it kind of loops back a little bit. So these are kind of the pieces within that. Are you guys okay with that as being week 2?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have 2 week 2s apparently. Or week 2 would be, what do you want? I like the idea. I'm wondering if what do you want? Because I think it's important to really get people starting to think about what they want early.
Yeah, I'm thinking put that first, or like up there at the beginning of week 2, maybe.
Right. Well, all right.
Because I struggle with that one.
Yeah.
Because I want so many things. Or they're really vague. They're really, maybe global. Then it's hard for me to sometimes break them down into smaller pieces.
I like the idea of what do you want, right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably good because it's like, look, we're talking about these general things and then get down to, because people want to go, hey, what am I going to get out of this? Well, what do you want?
Yeah.
What is it that you want in life? Because I think, again, it's that my slight difference on it from Jack Canfield, and not that I, he's been doing this for however long, but what motivated me to go see him was not that I wanted to take 100% responsibility for my life. It's that I wanted to change, right? I wanted something different. I wanted to do this. And that that's what motivated me to be able to take more responsibility, to experiment with the woo-woo. So anyway,
Yeah. No, I agree with that, and I think we're onto it. What about the first week being like this kind of 1-2 punch combo of starting the process of clarity? Like whatever you guys think are the beginnings of that, like maybe 100 the bucket list, or the 30 things you want.
so that is on
And
the
then,
first week.
yeah, I was just gonna say, a nice 1-2 punch of what do you want, and also believing it's possible. Starting to create that positive mental attitude. I think those, like you said, those blend in so well. It could be a good little back and forth you do. Because like Joanna said, I mean, clarity, they might not get until the third or fourth week or something, So you just kind of.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna say, yeah. So it's good to get it early, but I think you kind of, we might kind of revisit it maybe, a little bit in some way.
Yeah, I think we have to. I mean, the idea here is that they're all tying together. And then when you tell your story, and if we unpack them, say, look, we're really talking about action here, but he had to know what he wanted. Like, so remember, you got to make sure you know what you want and then take action and then take responsibility for that. And, this one, I absolutely agree. Let's put it that way. I'm over talking now.
Okay.
All right. So week 3 then would be, would you agree with it that create a positive mentality? Because I like the idea, like, what do you want? Be thankful, grateful for what you have now. Quit your bitching. Stop playing the victim. Like introducing that theme early, I think is a really important concept. Agree, disagree?
Yes, agree. And it helps shift out, because once people start thinking about what they want, and then they have that self-doubt of it's not possible. My spouse will never let me do that. My kids need these things. And so that the way you get back to getting excited about those first 2 sections is by keeping the mental attitude positive. And this is about, it slips all the time, but this is an important place to catch it, I think.
All right. So what do you want? Passion test, the mentality, and I think week 4 has got to be take action.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got to hit them with take action on, oh yeah, this is a great, intellectual exercise. And then you have to hit them over the head and be like, now you have to do something about it.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
I think I'm seeing a little bit of a challenge in how to get all this in an hour, especially the first 2, because there's so much content in there, but maybe we blend a couple of those concepts together or something.
Yeah. Well, again, this is the piece. Like, I think we shoot what we think is the pieces, and we'll figure out what the hour is. But what I would say is it doesn't necessarily have to be an hour, because remember, this is an online module.
Sure.
So you can be, some of them might be an hour and a half. Some, I don't know. Are all of yours an hour, Matt, when you're doing it with Xander?
No, the longest one is like 27 minutes.
What?
Yeah, and I mean, we're taking. I think I really like the idea of our stories in the video. I think that's really going to be a helpful thing. But we also will need a video, some sort of presentation explaining it too. I think, like you said, it doesn't. Every video is not going to be a story and an unpacking of a story.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. I mean, like I said, I think what we do is we decide that these are things we're going to work on. And Joanna, to your point, it's a lot to put in here, but the idea here is like, all right, this would be just an action item, right? So I think we can do this. I think you'd be surprised by how quickly we can put these pieces together. And it's a short story to illustrate it. But like I said, we won't know until we do it. And we go,
right. We have to do it. We have to do it. Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah. And Chris, like you said, some of these work, like the can't won't exercise, literally, like if you're explaining the video or the concept, say, and you're talking about it, and you can say, okay, now what I want you to do is pause the video, set a timer for 5 minutes, and write down, you could throw in an exercise like in the video and just tell them to pause it. Like you said, that's the beauty of the online is, and then they come back and you're back on the same page with everybody. So
Yeah, thank you, Joanna, for that one, by the way. I like that one.
I was just following the book.
So I like the idea of creating a positive mentality. Week 3, taking action, right? And then you got to hit them with, you got to start introducing, so it would be week 5 would be take responsibility. Because now you've kind of warmed them up a little bit. They've taken some action. They've either gotten results or not. And then you got to hit them. You got to hit them with the take responsibility, right? You know.
Well, we need their buy-in before we get a little direct. So that's good.
Right. So that's week 4, week 5. All right. What about week 6? So there's we actually have 8 because there's the creating a mental positive mentality. Take responsibility. So what do we think is the follow-up after? So now we told them to take action. Now we're told them to take, write down what you want, the mentality, take action, take responsibility for that action. What do we think is the follow-up to that? We got 2 weeks and we got three pieces.
Well, I think we can probably combine something. Can you go down to the third piece there? Okay, you got it. All right. Well, I think that last section needs to be there by itself, and then maybe the take action. So would you say we've got 1 more session to try to get all this in, or is it 2?
So we have 2 more. So we're at week 5 right now.
Okay.
Well,
I think law of attraction and take responsibility, some of that can come together potentially.
Sure.
Okay.
Take action on what? Have you done a vision board? Take action on, have you shared it with other people? Take action on, have you, whatever those other points are, because taking action, what is the action? And I think exercising some of the law of attraction items.
How about this one? The planning and action, right?
Yes.
And so instead of being the law of attraction, but some people, I won't speak for some people. I'll speak for myself as opposed to some people. In the beginning, the idea of the law of attraction I found off-putting, just for me, right? It seemed too woo. I wasn't ready to say the law of attraction. It just seemed too woo-woo before I understood it, right? So I like the idea of saying strategic planning and action and introducing the law of attraction, right? So I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, not that I'm against the law of attraction. It's just that.
It could also flow pretty well with the last section of it goes. The thing about law of attraction is it's the belief it's possible.
Right.
So, but I think it is the keep it going, keep it motivated, because at this point in this session, people have connected with each other online. They've already started doing some of things, and we can use examples that they can relate to about how law of attraction works. And it is a lot easier to buy into it at that point because they're going to have already experienced it, even if they didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's have an idea. So I'll put down things that we're possibly going to take out. So, breakthrough goal, contribution community. Do you have anything about the 7 areas of your life? So strategic planning and action. So I like the idea of saying, balance. So 7 areas, / balance. And then I would like you to talk, Joanna, about what was you were talking about, the kind of sometimes you're out of balance.
The counterbalance.
I like that one. The idea of, look, sometimes you're going to do this. You're going to be, you're out of balance. You got 7 areas of your life, your family. You make a conscious decision to sacrifice to get ahead. As long as you're not constantly in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good one. So what do you guys think? So start talking about the 7 areas. So like you're taking responsibility. I'm going to move this one down for right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think law of attraction can be in there, but it probably will go with another week or something like that. It probably doesn't have to be its own week.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. So strategic planning and action, and we have these other things. It's not like this is they all kind of mesh together. And then I like the idea of keeping the motivation going. What is your action items afterwards, right? Continue to watch videos, motivation audio.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Put yourself as the client here. You're at the end of week 7. What would you want to feel satisfied through this process?
Well, I like what we have here is that you've got some how-tos, like, okay, what are you going to do? Because our time's over together. What are your next steps to keep together? I mean, they've already kind of naturally put together a mastermind group. How they connect offline is, we might give them some ideas on how to do it. But the breakthrough goal, I think that's the biggest piece of this, because, I mean, you think about how BTS goes. The breakthrough goal is towards the end-ish, after you've learned how to implement and create it. And holding each other accountable, whether that's through accountability partners or the mastermind group. But I think the tools of what to do next, so that when they turn this computer off, they don't feel like, well, that was cool, now what? I mean, we've given them some clear action items and what they can do to continue.
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
And then, like all good salespeople, and certainly anybody with an online presence, this is where, well, we soft sell this every week. What's next? And we need to decide, not to get caught up on that right now, but we need to decide what is next. Here's our event in Las Vegas at this and such date, or we have private coaching opportunities with each one of us, or as a collective, whatever that is, because this is the perfect time for them to hit, yes, I want more. And we'd be doing ourselves a disservice if we weren't offering something.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Okay.
I mean, even if it's not an informal, but almost like a one-day event of some kind, whether it's a huge one like we've talked about when we collaborate with other speakers, or if it's hey, we've got 27 people, half of them can get to Santa Fe or LA, and let's get together in 2 months and see how we're doing, something like that.
Yeah, it's true.
And have a one-day workshop of some kind.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be extravagant on our end for this to be successful. And then they pay us $1,000 to come for the day.
Yeah.
Or more,
yeah,
whatever.
And I think we need to have one-on-one phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe then like weekly, bi-weekly, or some sort of, just everyone can get on the phone and just have like a Q&A session too.
Mm-hmm. Well, or yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because we don't want people just calling us whenever they want to.
No.
But we do want to put in those hours here and there, to get those questions, or always be open to emails and stuff too. But yeah, I like that. As long as like at the end they feel like they have the plan or the tools, I think then that'll be successful, because you can't guarantee anything. You can't guarantee someone will do the work. So
right.
Well, and I think this is a good start. So one of the things, whenever I do presentation or anything is I always bookend it. So I started with, look, there are 3 themes, right? Here they are. The better you execute. We've now given you the tools. We've given you ideas. We've given you, a community to plug into to help make these things happen for you. So I always like to bookend pieces, saying I started talking about this, and at the very end, you see now when I said we talked about it that this is what we were talking about. So it's a nice beginning end, right? You talk to them about the journey that they've done, and then say, okay, what's next? All right, so here's some of the things. If you're interested, what we're doing, personal coaching, whatever those things are, in-person event, book us for a business keynote, that kind of thing. Guys, what do you think is a good starting point?
Well, we have a starting point, right?
Yep.
Go scroll back up to the beginning then. When you can.
Yep.
Man, you got some skills on this.
I've done this a few times. All right, what do you want to see?
Well, you just said where to start, so let's just take a look at the beginning. Obviously, we need some sort of welcome intro video, and then, like you said, explaining the 3 main pillars of clarity, action, and responsibility. I think that's one little video. We'll see how it plays out, but that's probably number 1. And then number 2, I think we get into that the change is possible, starting with the mindset, because kind of also like Jack said, it takes 30 days to kind of break it in. So if we get something right off the bat, believe it's possible. Here's the first thing I need you to do is for 30 days, you do the mirror exercise, or you do the maybe we have a certain affirmation list just in the beginning about nothing specific, but just believe it's possible. I will make change. This change is happening. Whatever it is, get that going in the beginning. And then I think those are 2 really good, strong starts for us right there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of intro it, and then, hey, we're going to get into believing it's possible. And then let's see. Homework about most important is good for the first video.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Okay, Joanna. Any thoughts?
And I follow this. I think, but the most important part is this welcome video and getting the buy-in. And part of that is also doing the whatever the pitch is that's getting him to join us. And as important as our first module is what's the teaser, what's the compelling piece that says, yes, I'm going to click on that and spend $5,000 or whatever we're charging.
We need a.
And maybe that's a case of once we have some of this prepared, that we take clips of that. A good videographer can help us pull pieces from the existing content too.
So we need, what is it?
The sales piece.
Promo. Video.
With the value proposition.
Yeah.
How do you guys envision getting clients?
Well, first level is I think people, well, kind of like what you said Xander did. I feel like the first few are going to be people that we each already know and that know us and trust us with their money enough to pay for something like this. I also think it's not that expensive to do some Facebook ads to get it out there. I don't know what either of your online presence look like at the moment, but I have several groups that I've taught and spoken to before that frequently ask for more. And I think when I bring more people on, I get rid of that problem of being a prophet in my own land. And So I think it'll be very word of mouth at first. And if we need a little boost here and there to make sure it shows up in front of the right people, we may need to do the Facebook ads, because I don't know if you guys have ever done those, but there's a way to go in and design them to where you can get people that like Brian Tracy, like Zig Ziglar. So we're in front of people that are already motivational gurus, seekers.
Yeah.
You just put in a couple of those keywords, and then all of a sudden people that like those pages will see the ads.
I just had a good thought, Joanne. I wonder what kind of out of the box keywords we could search for people who are not searching for Brian Tracy and Jack Canfield.
Job searches.
Job searches.
What do people do in transition? Divorce.
Dating site.
Not that anybody that's getting divorced can afford a $5,000 program, but
only one of them can.
yeah, when it's over. I don't know. That's a good thought. Is what keywords do those need to be? That's some good homework for us.
Yeah, the reason I think that too is because God, my Facebook is just slammed with every person in the world who offers coaching now. Mm-hmm. It's almost like it's too much, it's like, it's almost overwhelming. So like maybe there's some other words or search, like you said, dating sites, people who are looking for love, looking for job, people who are searching for something more. I like that idea. Yeah, I was just curious too, because, I don't know if we need to really have a promo video or ads or anything if our first 10 clients each are going to be people we know organically.
Well, but what are they getting? I mean, when you agreed to work with Xander, you've met him, you knew him in person. How would you have found him online? Or if one of us said, hey, we really like this guy, you should check him out, Chris, or Matt, the first thing you do is go to his business page, whether it was Facebook or online website, and figure out a little bit about him. So,
well, actually, what I would probably do is try to get a phone call set up if it was going to be that type of connection.
Yeah.
The phone, because honestly, the promo video, any sort of ad, any sort of anything else we do, all we're looking to do is get a consultation phone call.
Yeah, get an action to take.
Right, because you're not, the video and all that's not going to close anyone. We're not trying to create a video that actually sells like an infomercial. No. All you really want is to say, yeah, this sounds pretty good. Let me at least find out more. And then the more should be just a phone call with, one on you with whoever you're talking to, or me or Chris or whoever it is. And then, because, then we could, then they can hear our enthusiasm and we can really, so I'm not sure how much the intro videos and that is that important right now.
Okay, good point.
Well, I think to the point is, I think it's just good for us to have something to put out and put it this way. Hi, friends, family, business associates. This is what I'm working on now. I'd like you to give me some feedback on my video, right? Do you know anybody who would be interested? So it makes it easy. Do you know anybody? Well, I'd be interested, right? It's not like you're trying to sell them, but you know anybody that might be who might be interested in what I'm doing, right? It's an easy way to sort of drip on somebody. So I don't know if it's the first thing that we do. I like the idea of what you said, Joanna, is let's work the content, and then then we're gonna have video content that somebody can go in and go, okay, let me take this one, cut it up and make it into a sizzle video, right? And put it out there and goes, hey guys, and get feedback from our friends and family. Go, well, this is what I'm doing, right? Well, how much is it going to cost? I mean, it'd be interesting to see who asks you the next question. Oh, that's cool. That's not your person, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
well,
great.
I don't know how this applies, but it worked on me. And several years ago, I went on a retreat in Maui with Mastin Kipp, and he's not quite so big as he was, but he has a blog called The Daily Love, and he'd been on Oprah, and he was pretty young and had come around in the woo world pretty fast. So interesting guy, or at least online. And there was an application you clicked on, and it said, we're only accepting so many people for this and such program, and click here for the application. And then, like Chris said, or Matt said, somebody called, set up a time for me to talk to somebody that knew more about what the program was. And by the time I got through, it was basically like they interviewed me and then they selected me to be part of the thing. And anybody that had $5,000 got accepted. I knew that. But by the time I finished the phone call, I was like, you know what, this is really cool, but it actually really applies better for my best friend. She's the one that needs to be on there. So what do? I call her. I said, hey, follow this link. You need to look at this. And she calls me back, no, we need to do this. We're both going. So 2 Facebook ads and a phone call, they got $10,000. And we got a week in Maui. But that whole part of being able to be one-on-one and ask a lot of questions, like Matt was saying, and then by the time the phone, it was well scripted, well designed, no doubt. They paid a lot of money to have this set up this way. But I think from what we all know and the backgrounds that we have, I think we could create something that'd be very effective. But when they said, well, the next step is, we didn't talk price until a second phone call, I don't think. And I knew, I was like, okay, this is gonna be $8,000. So when they said 5, I was like, sure. Oh, and by the way, here's your payment plan. It's on PayPal for $9.95 a month for the next 3 months. And the trip's not till November. So it, for us, we don't necessarily have to have them. It didn't have to be so far out.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
But they hooked me in. There was pretty much no way. And by the way, I shared it with someone else, which I think this is one of those things where sharing it with someone else is going to help us grow our audience pretty fast. I got to go plug my phone in. Sorry.
No, that's okay. And I really think that's going to be a huge portion of the business side of this, is that communication, that effectiveness of the phone call, the ease of payment, the ease of, all that is important. And I don't know where you guys are at on that level. I definitely have learning to do on that side. Xander's program is getting into that for me now, so I will definitely be into that this week. But like you said, Joanna, who knows? That might be one of those things we might invest in, is some sort of team to help us really get clear on that message. Because like you said, once you get that phone call, that's when it has to happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no, well, I'll call you back next month when I get paid, or it's a now or never, usually with the people. Right.
Because all this stuff here, all the videos we're going to make, we can always change them. We could be 10 weeks into this and go, you know what? Our first video sucks. Let's redo the first video. And I don't think that's as big of a deal as just convincing them that, you need to take responsibility for your life and pay this money and go through this course, because this is taking action, man. So yeah, that's a good point. And then Chris, you had a good point too, where let's just start making some of these videos, because we might say, oh, well, we'll just move this video to week 4 instead, and it'll still be just as good. So, but at least we'll get the ball rolling. And then one other thing I thought too is, was there anything else? So Joanna, you went to what, BTS with Jack?
I did 2 BTSs, and I'm doing the train the trainer online.
Oh, okay, cool. So just as far as the way we structure this, like you said, since it's our stories anyway, was there anything for your first BTS that made you go? And Chris, said you wanted change. I'm sorry?
It was Friends that I saw a big change in, and she took us, this was in January, and we were with Julie Facer and Brett Scarborough, and they took us, Brian and I, to breakfast the morning after one of our real estate meetings and said, you guys really would love this. You should go to this. And that was the end of January. 2 weeks later, we signed up for BTS February and went. So it was somebody promoting it that had been through it before. And and we had seen the change in their life and their attitudes. And it was a personal connection.
And then what were you hoping to get out of it?
Brian to get a better attitude. I wanted somebody else to change.
Well, you can sign up for free if your spouse pays full price.
Yeah, but it worked, and it helped us break out of what we thought success was, and finally we, for the first time for both of us in a long time, and maybe ever, could break out of real estate. And why are we doing it? Why is this so? Why are we working so hard? And what is it for? And that was a very cool experience.
So, okay. So you were wanting to kind of especially Brian, have a better attitude, but also possibly career change in a sense.
Well, not even career change, just beyond, why are we, it actually enhanced for me, it enhanced my career. It made me want to work harder because I got a renewed energy, because I got more excited about what I wanted to do that real estate funded. I knew I wanted to speak and teach internationally. I knew I wanted to do something with my jewelry line that had a give back. Had I not had that BTA experience, I don't know that I would have recognized the opportunities that came down, because I would not have done the what do I want exercise. And I wouldn't have realized that when something comes down the pike that it came in line with those things that were so important to me, I wouldn't have known to say, or I wouldn't have been as comfortable saying yes to them.
Okay.
So anyway, that
was cool.
I didn't mean to rant on that, but.
No, I think that's great, because like you said, it's our story. So one thing I would encourage you both to do is just kind of try to think back to, like, what were the first things you started doing that started the change process for you? You know what I mean? I mean, Jack might say take responsibility or whatever, but like you said, for me, it was just believing something was better out there. Something I was going to make a change. I had no idea at the time what I was going to do. But for me, it was just knowing there was going to be some sort of change. And so I think that's the important thing of week 1 or 2 in there, is like, what made us change? What made us take that leap? What were the little things you guys started doing that kept the ball rolling for you? Because that's what we want to get out of people, is action and doing something. And so they have that positive change and that feeling like we had, where it's like, I want more. I'll go see Jack. Who knows? Maybe we work with, I'll tell you this, Xander got a special price for BTS for any of his clients to go to. And he got a free ticket. So he was able to raffle off a free ticket for our 25-person group or whatever, which is pretty cool. So who knows? Maybe at the end of it, we're saying, hey, here's another thing to help jumpstart where you're at. Jack Canfield offers our students a discount to go to BTS. This is something that will keep you on your, you know what I mean? So, so when we're thinking about as we go, what has helped you? What are the things you have done down the, going down the line? And that's exactly how we lay it out for other people.
Okay.
And it seems like attitude comes up a lot. So I think it's good, we're going to start with a little bit of that belief it's possible and affirmations and stuff like that. So,
okay. So I don't mean to be the school teacher here. I love it, by the way. I love it. Next week, what are our commitments for next week? So I'm going to go back to my screen share here. And what I think we should get started on our content. Because a lot of these other things come out of, I think it will start coming out of this, and we'll have to start taking notes on it and then taking action on it, like putting together a Facebook. Like we could start a Facebook community now, right? And, we can start,
and we can make it a private closed group. So if it's not real big first way, it's not like we look like we're struggling. And then we make it open or bigger group once our people get added to it.
Yeah, so I think there are things that we can get started on right away. But for me, I'm always look, you nail the content, people will come.
Yes.
I'm just very simple. You can have the best sales ideas, greatest thing, but if somebody gets, a pet rock, and you're like, really, that was it? That was what I spent $5,000 on. It doesn't viral. So. Like you said, somebody who introduced you to it. That's what I want. I want people to have a great experience and say, you should take this online course. These people were great, and you'll get a lot out of it. Those are the ways that I see it growing. If you start with that warm market, you want to call it, your friends, your business relationships, whatever it is, and we grow out of that. But let's nail the content and feel like we've got a good product. Is that fair? All right. So I would say for next week, we work on week 1.
Yeah, I think we each need our changes possible story, and we can practice it enough on our own to get it down to 2 minutes or less, or something close to that. That's sort of a little bit longer than an elevator pitch, but what's changed for us in using this material? Because I think that's a huge buy-in. I think we all have a story there.
All right. I'd like to work on the choices, your superpower. Do you guys want to work on the 2 stories then for change is possible?
Mm-hmm.
So Matt. Hello.
Yeah. I was just thinking, and it hurt a little bit. It was hurting. Yeah, no, I like that, Chris. I think you should definitely try to do the superpower. You're talking about like introducing the 3 of them.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is the choices, your superpower. That kind of these choices, your superpower. Introduce 3 themes that kind of go together, and then change is possible, right? So it might be a little out of order here. It might be more like this.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And Joanna, I'm sorry, you're going to talk about how change was possible?
Well, I was just thinking each needed to kind of prep our stories about how do we know change is possible, or that give us the example of, before I started working on this material, I was stuck in my career only, and I didn't see the reasons behind doing more. I couldn't find the motivation past what was right in front of me, whatever that, so that we can tell our story of change, so that they can say, oh, well, if they can change that, I can change this. You follow me? I think that's important for us to say change is possible. Oh yeah, change is possible. Everything changes. That's actually a guaranteed fact that things are going to change. But change that you want using this material here's how it's worked for us.
Okay.
And I guess we'll need your story too at some point, Chris, but I think this is something that we give examples.
Or not necessarily, Joanna.
Oh, that's true. You're right. We don't need to all, you're right. Mm-hmm.
No, that's okay. So you want, I just want to be clear so I know what I'm preparing. You want to talk about a specific story about change?
Well, I just want to give them examples of how change is possible and how it's affected us personally, and why we believe this is so powerful to share. Okay.
I love that. Would it be okay then if I did more of instead of a personal story, maybe just a little thing on just believing it's possible?
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't really matter. The whole point is getting them thinking that change is possible, and it probably will take more than one method.
Well, it's interesting, and this is where we can experiment with it. Whereas Matt, you're really introducing the idea of change is possible, and Joanna's doing a story.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you could unpack, and then you unpack it. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
So I'm just going to
start.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this out. I'll send out this outline, and we'll get started on that. And then if you have things to add to it, we'll have to figure out that protocol a little bit. Like, oh God, we really got to add this in here. Send it back to me and just say edited, edited.
Okay.
And then say with your initials, and then I'll try to manage it. So we'll see how that works. I have Word, so if you put a track changes on, it helps me, and then I can put the other track changes on. So what you should do is, sorry, I'll have to get into my weird configuration management stuff, so you'll have to excuse me. So make say edited, your initials, and send it to both people. Because then if Matt, like you say, oh, but I had something I wanted to add also, and then we send it to both of us, and then I'll get the edited pieces in it. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. This way we can
I think I know what you mean. I'll figure it out.
Well, but like I said, you might have things like, hey, I want to add some stuff at the end. Here's some content that I really think are important. I don't know where exactly it fits, but I want to add this in.
Got it.
Right? And I'll clean up back here. So, let's see, other. Right. So if you have other ideas and you're saying, hey, I think this might be good, let's just add them. Shoot me an email, I'll add it to the list.
Okay.
Because, you might have your inspired moments to do that.
Sure.
Are you guys available at all in the evenings for just a quick phone call if I need to talk about something or run something past you.
Yes.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes. Oh, now, so Joanna, we got one thing that we wanted to share with you, and let's have you think about this. So one of the things that I had an idea before, and I kind of ran it past Matt, was us coaching each other
Yes.
and recording it. So it would be kind of like we're getting our individual coaching, we're recording it. Maybe it's even things that we can use for content later. But the idea here is, I coach Matt, Matt coach you, you coach me. The third person gives feedback, just like our keynote mastermind group.
Sure.
We go through it for half an hour, and Matt says, wow, this is what I really thought was good, Chris, about your coaching. I thought you did this. This was the improvement opportunities. And then you go back, Joanna, how did that feel? Or Chris, how did that feel? Joanna was coaching you. Well, I really like this. And when she said that, I was a little like I had this kind of thought. That what I thought was an improvement opportunity. And us learn the coaching piece, because we're going to be doing that from stage. Kind of like you look at what Zach did. He had coaching from stage, and this gives us an opportunity to work on that, record it, and get some feedback on it. So, would you be?
Yeah, that works. Absolutely, that sounds great.
Okay. All right. Now, the other part that Matt spoke about. So, thank you, Matt, for getting this thing going. Is additional touch points. I think it's going farther, faster, sooner, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, we can speed this up by adding in some time together.
By adding in some time. So let's noodle that for next week also.
Okay.
And what are good times for people, and then start setting up the coaching call, like our coaching calls. And I think just do it kind of like it was the keynote mastermind group. We just kind of set up an hour. This is the call today. Joanna will be coaching Chris today. Coaching Matt. And then we'll just kind of go through it and get our feedback.
Sure.
All right.
Sounds good.
I will add that kind of to at the end. So
yeah, we can respond, Chris. After you send out the notes and the link, we could respond just like, hey, I have availability, this time. So
I'm just adding. Sorry, I'm just taking some notes. So agenda items will be set up coaching calls and set up. What else? Set up additional time.
Great.
I'll be right out.
All right. We went a little long today, but I think we got through a lot.
It was a good planning session.
Yeah, this was good. I think we kind of need this to get a little bit of a structure around what we're doing. So we cut it, start talking about potentially a videographer. I would like to actually play with it a little bit, see if I can do it, because I've got all the Zoom, I've got all the video files, and just see how it goes. I'd like to play with it anyway, just so we're not like, okay, we're waiting for the videographer to come back, and he's doing this.
Yeah.
And it was $500, everybody.
Right.
If we can put this together, and then we decide, Chris, that was crap. We need to.
Well, I think if we can at least have an example of what we want something to look like, or this is the content we want to use, spice it up a little bit. We have the material. It's just making it look pretty is all we need help with. So yeah, I think whoever we give this to, the closer it is to where they can take it and run with it, the less money it's going to be, and the more accurate the information is going to be that we want to share.
Yep. All right. Good. All right.
Good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right. Bye.